This is the section. So I'll be starting with the introductions first. First is what is of stress and disease. So the main objective here is to determine how we can increase the agricultural yield and to decrease the use of pesticides and the use of water resources as much as we can. The main challenge here is the manual field scouting. So that is manual labor of every time we need to have a reactive or supportive balance. The main structure here it falls is because first is manual scouting, second is here we can fill that gap by doing the next step is autonomous UVs, and then we can use scale it up by deep learning models. The main objective here is to research and treat the existing vegetation index to analyze and classify both in same pipeline, not like that existing research in this field where they treat both the problems as two different model. Main objective here is to process the data in a multispectral and RGB imagery, then segment crop from soil and background clutter. And then we can classify the regions based on disease and need of water resources, nutrients, or pest damages. At last, the model will be generated by a spatially accurate prescription match, which will describe the area which needs improvement. Okay, so this is the pipeline and how actually structure will work. First, we'll have UV data. It will uh, map all the traits of a region or field. Then we can use the georeferencing as well as processing of data. After that, the vegetation index will be fused based on localized regions or weathers or the area of field which we grow in. Then the segmentation will work. So in segmentation process, we will separate crop canopy from the soil. Then that crop canopy will pass to the detection stage where UAV will detect the weeds and the pests and crops in different sections. And then the final output generation will take place. Okay, so here the working of this methodology here is first UV acquisition work as RGB and multispectral imagery. That processing will take place as orthomosaic or georeferencing mapping. Then index fusion will have first is can be normalized differences, green normalized, red normalized, and soil adjustment. So what is green and red? So every vegetation indexes, if they have even a red index and the chlorophyll quantity in that leaf or in plant, so that the indexing during indexing we have to keep it separate during for segmentation and detection. So in this data set, we have worked as the flight altitude will be around between 20 to 50 meters above the ground, and the image overlap will be between 75 to 65%. The main output of here is the next step will be adding thermal or LIDR sensors to reproduce the specialized and hard to replicate setup. That is the main reference paper I have used. Okay, so the reference benchmark contest here is that MSCI challenge, that is the main data set I have used here for producing the results. Okay, so to understand what is georeferencing here is, we have first is a pixel, dark, and a panel. So what they do is, it will have raw digital numbers of pixels, sensor data, current offsets, and panel will record digital numbers. Okay, so here the main experiments will start from here is first NDVI, that is normalized difference vegetation index. So what is NIRS? NIRS is the infrared imagery we'll use for RGB capture. So in this way, that GNDB that is green normalized, then red normalized, then solid adjustment, and then enhanced vegetation. And last is chlorophyll absorption ratio index. So what they do is they will main feed forward the data set for the segmentation process. Okay, so okay, so this way there are eight vegetation indexes here, which based on different instances and how we separate them, it normalizes. So there are few vegetation of maize and quickweeds. So to remove that quickweed, that is green data. So to improvement and can be used as a separation from segmentation. Okay, so for segmentation part, they will use BC plus dice loss. So what it will do is then first is binary. It will lose detection for segmentation between cross canopy and the soil. So there are two methods. First is dice loss and BC. What does the both will do is it will predict us ground look and the real prediction method and check between them that is really crop canopy and the soil is segmented or not. Okay, so based on this weeds, the main this is only the process of weed segmentation between soil and crop. So we have cross the fission matrix normalized. What it shows here is the probability of normalized segmentation. Okay, so here, after the segmentation is done, the main task we have with this crop canopy is to detect the stress in the water resource needed, or any pest in the canopy. So here we use only a single euro V8 version. It can be trained further or it can be improved further. This is still a topic for further research. Okay, so here is that output from a single crop canopy. So here it can have a very minuscule amount of maize or other weeds, quickets here to detect and remove. This is only for a prescription map, so it's only showing where and which areas to improve. So the next step is from post-processing that prescription maps and that pixels. It should be improved and segmented in a georeference detection and map. In the next step, it can have a severity heat map and localized cost crop canopy to better detection. So in the overall system architecture, the same method will be at till vegetation index free computation. After that, in early fusions, what they will have is stack tensor, and so that the segmentation process will improve the yield of data set, and then you can have a path selection. So for lightweight rest entity classification, it can have many temporal chain modules, but for the primary part, that is UV detection, it it's still needs to improve. So the methodology here and the detection of every pest and stress in the field and the crop can be detected in both ways. Okay, so here the recall confidence score for every weeks and how to improve that is here we can see that first is uh, there are many precision metrics and recall reference score intersection over union then pixel accuracy. So what does your recall mean is it will have It will model the flag and the stress, and it won't cover for every prescription map and for every negative. Okay. Then the same for the FL score. What FL score does is it will be a balance between precision recall trade-off, and it will fill the gaps between precision over recall. So this is the data of an experiment for every uh, data set trained for the model. So I'll show you how this data set actually finally looks like. Okay, so this is the simple demo here of how UAV will actually work for and simulate the feed in every matrices and every data to better identify. So the speed of UAV here will be defined as we can adjust that, and the distance from goal, that is the red endpoint there, is around 300 meters, and the path to complete that, this will be around 300 seconds. That's like 5 minutes. So at the last, after this simulation and the training of data set, the model, how it will look here is that every beat and the points to improve for different localized crops and the soil and for regions, it will somehow look like this. Okay, so for to conclude this model, right now the only good thing about this is we can use RGB only detection for YOLO V8 to improve this model. It can have a few REST classifiers for fallback system. This pipeline will help us in improving the deep learning models with the proper vegetation index fusions. Thank
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. So I think this is good research, especially that you're working in field of UAV applications, especially that we have simulation and demo. And firstly, that I'd like to ask you a simple question: that why Zolo VH? It's not V9 or V10 or V11. Why?
Okay, so for using YOLO V8, the minuscule amount of detection and like the weeds that can be in very tiny for huge 300 meters of data. So to properly detect that and not miss during the speed of UAV traveling, UAV V8 is a better option currently right now.
Because when we're working with the EOV, we have to make a compact or light model, deep learning. So as we can run in a very fast and real-time system. Not only that, we use the mini version of Zodo, like lightweight model. So one of my recommendations is when the future works, can incorporate a lightweight model of Zolo V9 or Zolo V10 into a system of UV. And we can fuse between the multiple UV at the same time. We can detect not only growth, but also many other type of environmental factor. So we can make simultaneously and capture information from environment. Okay. Thank you. So I would like to have a question from Mr. Tân.
Thank you for the presentation. I think the picture from AUVs have many type feature. Now the many feature maybe textual feature from image. I think you should expand research when you combine and fusion features from many feature as texture or size from that's when you predict classify disease disease tức là ý em nói xong là gì, tức là khi mà nghiên cứu ấy, thì tôi thấy là có rất nhiều những cái cách tiếp cận để mình chọn ra những cái đặc trưng để mình có thể là cơ sở để phân loại các cái bệnh về mùa màng ấy. Thì khi mà